LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I
filed my return,
but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though. I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
British Spy Stories Season 6 Counter-Strike Episode 10. The large clock, high up on the wall in the forecourt of the British Embassy in Prague, displays 5 past midday as the guard on security presses a button to let in an unmarked black van from the roadway outside. The special delivery is 2 suitcases, addressed to Gabby Lane, which are taken to a meeting room on the first floor. These are the cover lives that Talgarth had ordered from MI6 Comms branch for the 2 of them to meet the arms trader, Tarmo Rebane, in his Luxembourg home tomorrow. Gabby finds Talgarth and tells her to take one of the cases, commit the cover life briefing to memory, and be ready to leave by taxi at 6 p.m. The first-class lounge in the Václav Havel airport in Prague has only 4 travellers in it on this Sunday evening. The women walk into the lounge wearing the business suits supplied by London, Gabby in black Dolce & Gabbana, and Talgarth in dark blue Ralph Lauren. They find seating right at the far end of the lounge, after pouring out complimentary gin and tonics at the bar. "We've got about an hour before the flight boards," says Gabby. "Go through your cover life for me." "I'm Saskia Gensch," begins Talgarth. "Born in Frankfurt. My father ran illegal gambling clubs in the city when I was a girl, and I worked for him until he was killed by a rival. The role I had in the clubs was as a fixer, arranging for high rollers to visit and gamble. Many of those men came from the criminal world. After my father's death, I was out of work but gradually established myself as a freelance fixer, helping the men who I'd met in my father's clubs to source money, guns and drugs." "Let me ask you some test questions, Saskia." Gabby speaks in German. "Why weren't you killed or arrested after your father died? You'd have been an important part of his empire." "I'd been sleeping with the chief prosecutor in Frankfurt, who was one of the regulars in the clubs. I used that relationship to slip away into the shadows." "What are the names of the biggest high rollers who you have in your personal network?" "My network is confidential." Talgarth's eyes are locked on Gabby's face. "How do you expect me to assess your ability to source the things you talk about if you won't be open with me?" "Order something, and I'll deliver it. My ability is measured in deeds, not words." "That sounds good." Gabby smiles. "My turn. I'm Giselle Altman. I was a high-end call girl in Berlin in my early 20s, but killed a client and had to disappear from the pimps who ran me. I changed my appearance completely and had plastic surgery. I ended up working in bars in Frankfurt, then managing them. Eventually I started supplying drugs to the customers too. As my dealing grew, the bigger gangs started to hear about me and tried to stop what I was doing. They were planning an attack one night, but I heard about it and called in favours from my old contacts from when I was a prostitute. The attackers all died and I ended up with a reputation for violence." Gabby drinks some gin. "You and I, Saskia, met when one of your clients asked you to arrange to have me killed. You came into my bar, we talked, we had the man murdered. We've been working together ever since, trading in all manner of illegal goods and services. We had a request for an E-bomb and heard about Rebane through our network, hence our request to meet him. A waitress approaches them and asks about food, so they order trout and new potatoes. Then Gabby and Talgarth talk on about the aims and strategy that they'll adopt when they meet Tarmo Rebane. Eventually their flight is called as the light is fading across the runways outside, and they make their way to the gate. one of the bulletproof silver-grey Range Rovers, operated by the British Embassy in Luxembourg, glides softly to a standstill on the driveway outside the home of Tarmo Rebane. The plates on this vehicle were changed overnight to stop the number plate recognition cameras at the man's house from blowing Gabby's and Talgarth's cover. This leafy side street called Allée Marconi cuts deep into the Parc Municipal, a central area of green that lays claim to vast acres of the heart of this capital city. The few houses that are on this street seldom change hands, but when they do, the sums involved are never publicly disclosed. Gabby leans forward to the driver. "Michael, wait here for us. We won't be long, I imagine. What weapons do you have in the car?"
"My handgun, ma'am, and an SA-80 in the locked gun store in the boot."
He refers to an automatic weapon. "Be prepared if things don't go the way we've planned."
"Yes, ma'am,"
he says.
"Shall I open the door for you now?"
"Thank you." The women walk across to the front door, and Gabby pulls a large brass bell ringer in a stone portico. There's the sound of footsteps approaching, and a young woman dressed in black opens the door. She has black hair cut in a bob to her chin, and black-framed glasses. On the back of her left hand is the tattoo of a leopard. "Yeah," she says. "We have an appointment with Mr. Rebane, Giselle Altman and Saskia Gensch." She offers one of the business cards that comms branch included in her cover life suitcase. The girl beckons them in and indicates for them to sit on 2 Maro Laparini armchairs in the wide marbled hallway. The sound of the girl's heels gradually fades to nothing as she walks away, then starts again only a minute later as she returns. They follow her into what had originally been the sitting room of the house, but is now the office of the man they have come to see. "Thank you for seeing us, Herr Rebane," says Gabby, using the Estonian word for Mr. He is in his 50s, with slight grey flecks in his dark brown hair. The MI6 briefing documents about this man had contained photographs of him, but in real life his eyes are kinder and more intelligent than the still pictures portrayed. The thought that this could be a look-alike flashes across Gabby's mind. Possibly Rebane uses body doubles for security, but there's no way of finding out yet. "The pleasure's all mine, ladies. Have you been offered a drink?" They shake their heads. "Too early for wine?" They accept, and he walks to a glass-fronted wine fridge at the side of the room, and he opens a bottle of Fiano di Avellino. "This is Italian," he says. "Sadly, the Estonian wine industry can't produce anything like this yet. But I'm opening a vineyard in the valley where I grew up, in Tartu. Maybe we will produce something decent one day." He smiles gently. "Come and sit." He leads them to grey sofas positioned in the light of a large bay window. "How can I help?" Gabby talks about their fictional business dealings as a preamble to show Rebane that they are serious. He listens quietly but intently as she speaks, barely moving in the morning air. She finishes her talk by saying, "Now that the two of us have been working together for 5 years, we've built up a large trading network across Europe, which brings us to why we wanted to see you." He makes the smallest affirmative sound and smiles again. "We have a client in Slovenia who wants to source an electromagnetic pulse device. None of our current suppliers have that as an offering, but we heard that you recently provided such a device and brought it into Europe." "Where did you hear that?" he says. "Our contacts are confidential, Herr Rebane." A black cat is suddenly on the floor near the sofas, and it jumps up to sit next to the Estonian man. "That contract was confidential too," he says. "If you know about it, you must have bribed or blackmailed someone in my organization. Did you?" His voice has lost its friendliness now, and for the first time, Gabby and Talgarth start to believe the MI6 briefing on this man and his predisposition for ruthlessness. "We rely on our network," says Talgarth. "As you do." Rebane takes a small sip from his white wine.
I must insist you reveal your source of information, or, sadly, we won't be able to do business. One of my fundamental principles is that my organization must remain watertight.
Gabby invents on the fly and goes for high risk. We have a contact inside the British Security Service, MI6. He raises his eyebrows.
I wasn't expecting you to say that.
They know about you, Tarmo Rebane, she says. But our organization is secure. We can work together. If you need work done to undermine any MI6 activities, we are well placed to help you. Rebane strokes the cat next to him, and she continues. We've successfully run disinformation campaigns to protect ourselves and our clients. We do that by flooding fake facts into the sources used by the intelligence services and by the police until they don't know what's true and what's not.
Who is your MI6 contact?
He says. Gabby only shakes her head. I can't tell you that. The cat tries to jump up, but Rebane holds his hand hard down on the creature to make it stay. In the end, it slips through his fingers and scampers away. Put us in touch with the man who provided you with the E-bomb, and we'll help you.
Not everyone gets in here to meet me, he says. I had my team check your background after you contacted me.
Talgarth can feel a pulsing in the little finger on her right hand. Rebane drinks from his glass again, enjoying his control of the time, at least for these few seconds.
What weaknesses about you do you think they found?
He says, and opens his eyes wider. I know exactly what they found out about me, says Gabby. She looks at Talgarth. I move to violence too quickly, and Saskia here trusts men too much for her own good. He laughs now.
I like you, he says. I think we can do business together.
Can you arrange for us to meet your E-bomb supplier?
He nods.
Thank you. He starts to make moves to indicate that the meeting has come to a natural end.
How long are you here in Luxembourg?
You are our only reason to be here, says Gabby. Is your supplier based in this city?
He's peripatetic. No fixed abode, as you say, in English.
Do they? Gabby is quick to react as a German woman, as she spots his test of her genuineness. He stands, and the women echo it. They all shake hands, and the assistant reappears with impeccable timing to escort them out. As Gabby and Talgarth walk back outside, Rebane sits behind his desk and watches the CCTV images of them stepping into the Range Rover. He chooses a button on his desk phone and lifts the handset.
I have a job for you, Yuri. 2 women just visited me. They know about the E-bomb. Someone talked inside our organization. I want you to find out who that was and deal with them.
He listens while the man talks.
And put a tail on the 2 women. Something's odd, but I don't know what.
Rebane drops the receiver back into the cradle and takes a sudden, quick breath out through his nose. He pulls open one of the drawers on his desk pedestal and picks up a Glock 19 handgun. He stands and walks to the sofa where the cat is now sleeping, puts the gun to the animal's head and pulls the trigger. The mechanism clicks, with no bullet inside the gun, and the cat continues to sleep. Maxim's father, Alexei Orlov, had bought this house near the beach in Forta de Marmi in the 1990s to use as a family summer home. In that decade, he had moved rapidly up the ranks of the SVR, Russia's new security service that had replaced the Soviet KGB. He had played a good hand in the years when Soviet state assets were being sold off, and he amassed the money to buy this place. It was important to him to show men of importance that he was becoming someone of high standing, someone they could accept as part of their inner circle. The house is a square white building with a roof of Italian red clay tiles. Due to the design, the trees that surround the 1 acre of garden stop anyone seeing in from the road outside, called Viale Italico. But from inside the house, you get a direct view of the Mediterranean, buffeting up onto the golden, sandy beaches. The taxi pulls away from the front gates, leaving Maxime standing with only his backpack. He pushes 6 numbers into the steel panel in the wall, and the gates swing grandly open to let him in. He walks up the driveway and puts another code into the front door, then a third code into the burglar alarm to stop the pinging tone that precedes the full bell triggering. There are 6 bedrooms and he could use any of them, but he automatically puts his bag on the bed in the room he has always used since he first came here as a small child. The house is clean and tidy, and that's due to Signora Marchetti. She lives in the town and has been their cook and housekeeper for as long as Maxime has been alive. The children have always called her Nasha, which is Russian for belonging to us. Maxime only realized how insensitive the name was when he was 10 years old. But he didn't stop calling her that, and she's never objected. When Inessa had first brought her new baby boy to this house, Nasha had helped her cope with the intricacies of motherhood, as if the child was her own. All of the rooms are made up with clean sheets and duvets, just in case the family should turn up unannounced. There's no fresh food, but the freezer is packed with things to eat, and Maxime chooses a pizza to have later, then raids his father's drinks cupboard for a bottle of Peroni beer. Despite his relief at arriving after his 2-day-long journey via 6 different trains, he can feel himself getting annoyed. The whole reason for coming here was to talk to his father, and there's no sign of the man. He was sure he heard his father say he was coming here when he was in Prague. Maxime doesn't know what he'll do now. He didn't plan anything else apart from the journey. He pulls open the large plate glass patio doors that fold right back against the walls to make the inside and the garden one big room. Maxime sits in the chair that his father always sits in. He looks at the trees and the shrubbery and the birds flying overhead, and he swigs back his beer. After he finishes the bottle, he goes inside to explore the house again and see if anything has changed. He walks into the master suite and there is something different. He can't see what it is until he notices that the bed has been slept in recently. The duvet is not evenly placed on the bed as Nasha would do it. Maxime grasps the cotton to neaten it up. As he pulls it, he sees something in the bed and leans over to look more closely. He suddenly steps back in horror. Half hidden under the pillow is an amputated finger.